Go beyond awakening for your whole self. Our mission at Diamonds Forever 3113 is to awaken the hearts of all our brothers and sisters. A counseling, therapy, tool-giving catalyst for the whole being, WHOLE. You, Diamond, along with Elizabeth Diamond, me, and Lily Diamond, co-host of Diamonds Forever 31 and 13, Christ Consciousness, the supernatural, natural you, understands that seeking catalyzing change is not the easiest thing to do. We are here to help in a non-judgmental environment with trust and acceptance as the foundation. Diamonds Forever 3113 will join and help you move through uncertainty and difficult times. We will guide and offer whole being tools for you through those situations, and will reveal your strengths, potential solutions, and ways to overcome life's bumps in the now and future, healing your past. We will leverage your experience and skills to actively guide you in meeting your goals. If you're looking for a compassionate guidance with a human touch, give Diamonds a try. For more information on our services, visit Diamonds with an S, Forever 31.blogspot.com. It's all free. Donations appreciated. Much love to you, and have a great day, every day. A Diamond Day. Much love, Elizabeth Diamond. Join us live every Saturday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Diamonds Forever 3113 show with news update of world changes and special guests. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Diamonds Forever 3113 show. And this is Elizabeth Diamond and Lily Diamond, co-host, in the upgrade for Diamonds Forever 31.
Fly like the wind, run like the water, moving on the land for eternity. Fly like the wind, run like the water, moving on the land for eternity. We're here and gone, the candle flicker, spinning on a wheel that is larger than life. It's hard to know the bigger picture to understand it all in the sleep. Try so we can fly like the wind, run like the water, moving on the land for eternity. Fly like the wind, run like the water, going on the land for eternity. Fly like the wind, run like the water, moving on the land for eternity. Fly like the wind, run like the water, blowing on the land for eternity. Fly like the wind, run like the water, moving on the land for eternity. Fly like the wind, run like the water, blowing on the land for eternity. Rainbow dreamer with your head in the clouds, your feet barely touching the ground. You got your plans all worked out in your mind, but your life leaving you behind. You got so much potential, so what you gonna do? You know it's all up to you. You got to work a little harder, you got to do a little more if you're going to open that door. We are a magic people, you can see it in our eyes, it's good to be alive. We are a magic people, you can see it in our eyes, it's time to actualize the dream. Whoa, whoa, whoa. patience when you open up to it. No matter what, you know you can do it. Step by step, come on, take your inspiration. Focus, focus, and a little motivation. Come on, live your dream, come on, live it. Live your dream, come on, live it now. Live your dream, come on, live it. Live your dream, come on, live it now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Diamonds Forever 31 show on April 11th, 2015. How's everybody doing today? I kind of played that song because it's going to go through our theme today on the Diamond Show, Learning Who You Really Are. All right, so we have a lineup today. We're going to learn who we really are. We're going to go deep, deep into that. And we have Chris here. And we have Richard, and we have a lot more things, a variety of things, learning who we really are, going deep today in us with love, joy, peace, and all that good stuff. So welcome, everybody. Well, let me start with, what do I want to start with? Oh, I just want to give the thank yous and shout-outs to Lily, the co-host of Diamonds, and she's out and about today. She won't be here unless she listens in. And thank you to iqdcalls.com for posting the Diamonds information, DinarGuruNews.com, Ashtar Command, Facebook, tsu.co. Thank you for that. Thank you. And don't forget to go to the Diamonds blog for learning who you really are during the week and the update on the world news. And that's Diamonds with an S forever, 31.blogspot.com. There's also a donation button, give energy back in kind if you so choose. There on the right-hand side, and then also on the right-hand side you'll see a big diamond. Just click that and you'll link up to the Elizabeth Diamond YouTube channel where all the Diamonds calls are there. Several of them, most of the recent, like 50 of them. And we have 221 calls as of today, and you can always listen to all of them on the recorded Diamonds line. And that's 209-255-1099, PIN number 883267#. Ask for the reference number. You can put any number in from 1 to 122 is the reference number today. And then the pound sign after that. So you would put 122 pound for the reference number. So that's reference number show today, 122 pound for April 11th. All right, like I said, we're going to dive deep into who we really are. Regarding the law of one, you know, we're one, all of us separately are one special, unique snowflake, one special, unique diamond, multifaceted diamond, each of us. And our uniqueness of our real self is coming out these days. So don't be afraid to be your real self. All right, so I want to play a snip, and it's very deep. You might have to go listen to it a couple times back and forth, but it really says it in a nutshell. Two wonderful people that I've met personally in Keteley Beach. Gosh, I can't remember the name. It's in Florida. It's 99% quartz crystal sand on this beach. And Teal Swan, she's Teal Swan now, but Teal Scott, who is actually a fork of a Palladian. She's a very beautiful lady, very much wisdom. We'll hear her, and then we're going to hear Andrew Bartzitz. And we've talked about Andrew Bartzitz. He's able to read everybody's Akashic records in the whole galaxy and the world and history since he was a little boy when he got downloaded that at a baseball game during the end of the game when everybody was cheering. Boom, downloaded that. Anyway, so it's very deep. So, and we're talking about soul family too, and we're also getting accumulated to our brothers and sisters, our star family, who we're very connected to. We're just starting to remember that. So remember that as we listen to that. And then we'll continue on the theme, and we'll bring Chris on. So this is actually a fundraiser show that you're going to listen in on. Let's see, in 2013, about 2 or 3 weeks before the event that we went to in Florida, Kitole Beach in Florida, and for the beach party, a fundraiser for the beach party, and then talking about soul family. And it's very pertinent to this time that we're in now and going deeper, diving deeper. Okay, so let me start that. Here we go.
So, and that's the bottom line. So let's just proceed. It is what it is. So the subject we were kicking off on that Helene spoke to a minute ago was soul family. And Helene, did you want to begin by making any comments you'd like to make about
soul family
from your perspective?
Actually, I would love to hear. I'd like to start at the beginning and have maybe Teal and Andrew describe for our listeners what soul family is. How do you know that somebody is soul family when you see them, and how and what are they to you exactly? Maybe we'll start with Teal.
Well, from my perspective, basically, you could think of Source, which is the total collective consciousness, basically, of all that is, kind of like an ocean. And we all understand that there are currents within the ocean. And so it's difficult for the human mind to grasp the concept of soul family because, until we look at a concept like this, because if you look at the current within the ocean, the current is the ocean, but it's also a current. So we can't separate that which is soul family from the total collective consciousness of that which is source. But think of source energy. So that's a collective consciousness like this ocean, and soul families are like different streams or different currents within the ocean, and those currents keep sort of surging into different dimensions, and specifically what we're talking about today, surging into the third dimensional perspective, so as to increase the expansion of the totality of that ocean, or source consciousness, if you will. So as for how to your soul family, that's kind of I want to say basically it's not as simple as just meeting people that you resonate with, because while some people in your soul family will resonate very closely with you, we are interested in expansion here in terms of universal consciousness, and expansion is the byproduct of contrast, meaning it's the byproduct of experiencing that which is unwanted. Because of this, some of your soul family will choose to come down and provide contrast. So sometimes those very people which you hate the most in your life are part of your soul family. I don't really have a tried and true way in terms of recognizing who your soul family is, but most of the people you meet, I would even venture to say at this point in expansion, everyone you interact with has been someone to you in the past and is ultimately a part of the larger family, because the larger family is the collective consciousness. So from a spiritual perspective, I guess, I sometimes waver on whether it's even beneficial to think about soul family versus what's not soul family. If we're trying to understand unity completely, then it would be beneficial to see every being that is as family.
Interesting. What's your take on that, Andrew?
As many people have heard me describe soul family, it's about the migration patterns from one universe to this universe. And soul family on the micro scale, when you have a group of souls that are going from one experiential reality to the other, they're traveling between central suns or external suns. We have a sun here in our solar system that is constantly in look for new people to come in and share the experience in the various planets that are in our solar system. And these are migratory patterns that people naturally take. When our universe was founded, it was an invitation for immigration from other souls to come and experience here what the creation had brought. And as families begin to expand and expand and expand, you would leapfrog from one planet to another planet to one solar system to another solar system, looking for the new experience. They naturally formed pods. Pods became families. Families became oversouls. Oversouls became brand new solar systems. And groups of soul families would come together to create solar systems. Solar systems would offer contracts to individual people to create planets. Planets would offer contracts to solar systems to invite an immigration pattern for people to come and experience a type of unity layered reality with that solar system. On a more galactic level, you have a galactic central sun that's providing a theme for that galaxy, and that galaxy offers an overall theme for soul families to go and experience. Soul families can be as vast as the Arcturian Collective or as minor as a school of fish here on Earth. But it's what you travel with, the void of space between astral worlds of solar systems or planets. Each and every person at one point could be soul family to you in one universe, but we're functioning with 17 universes and 17 spokes on the wheels of divinity. And the current wheel of divinity that we are at for this evolution of unity consciousness is that Earth will become the master oversoul, master because we have no other linguistics that can describe how Earth will become the unity consciousness for all the other worlds that are already in unity consciousness. So the master soul families that have been experiencing this layer of reality, both good, negative, and neutral, are here to resolve their karma, dharma, or whatever you want to call it, on an experiential layer so that this reality can finish its last set of experiences before the elders pass on the torch to the youngers and move out of this universe and migrate into a new universe that is being born, creating a whole new set of soul families.
So what is, I was listening to Teal say also like different currents of the ocean. They're all part of the same thing anyway, but they're just a group, it's just kind of a current or a group that's coming or that runs together. But my question is, what is the benefit of coming together with soul family? There's a longing in all of us to come together with, I guess, kindred souls. Do you think are kindred souls and soul family the same thing to you?
Oh, that depends who you're talking to, because this is the issue. We've got these words we use, and all of us are talking about different things, but using the same word.
Right. Our linguistics is designed to limit us to the intonation or vibratory pattern so that we cannot fully express ourselves, like the word twin flame and kindred soul, which were created in the early 1900s, and yet each generation has readapted them through their linguistical patterns, which are ultimately limiting the full expression. As people were saying, there are streams within riptides and all that. It is similar to what I described, but I describe it as migratory patterns, just like birds that go south for the winter, or the butterflies that go to Mexico to that special place. Each soul family has a migratory pattern that they regularly use, and one person in one soul family may not know where the rest of the soul family is, and they may come together and experience out of randomness in one solar system and gain a more powerful connection, because each layer of reality is an experience, and the soul family purpose is to share the experience for the collective.
I'm getting a strong sense of, as above, so below, listening to the two different perspectives that we're listening to here. Andrew's speaking from a very, very large picture point of view, and in fact so is Teal. But Teal brought a very interesting aspect to this, the aspect that not all soul family members are necessarily the positive experiences that we expect it to be. Everyone's quite excited about the idea of soul family, assuming there's this ultimate positivity to be found. But if the purpose of the consciousness exploration is expansion, and contrast is always required, then there will always be that aspect amongst any soul family. Now, Andrew, you've just stated that soul families form planets, so therefore probably in some solar systems there's some quite negative planets providing contrast to the other.
Just as the elk would go south for the winter, the lions will follow. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Well, that's a truth that I think we need to hear, so that our expectations of what soul family groupings actually are and how they function aren't Disneyland expectations. They are realistic expectations. So I'm glad you brought that to the table.
This is definitely an issue that you see within human consciousness, is that we tend to devalue anything that feels emotionally negative and value anything that feels emotionally positive. when the reality is that both are actually aiding our expansion. And so if you're looking at expansion in the universe as a byproduct of increased consciousness is a byproduct of perspectives being born within the universe, brand new perspectives. And so a brand new perspective would be both sides of the coin, which is why so often you would choose to come in as somebody's mother, lover, son, daughter, a pet they own, grass they stepped on. You would want to experience every perspective relative to every relationship that you could possibly experience, and that's not always going to be a positive relationship. If we came here and only looked for positive relationships and that's the only thing we experienced, there really would be nothing to learn, because there would be no way to even identify what is wanted within the collective consciousness unless we understood what was not wanted.
We need that catalyst. And you just explained why I love my dog to death, but he drives me crazy.
Another layer to what Steele's just said, this world we live in is a multi-layered reality, and many of us came into it at a time where there were much less or much more realities. And the time that we are at now, all of those other realities that have had rules put on top of it, and new rules put on top of it, they're all bubbling to the surface so people make an experiential choice. Whether we come to an end or come to a big explosion or come to a big realization, each individual person's perspective will be their experience of what they had on this world. No matter what the change is a change in perspective and the change in the experience, because Earth is at this point where the experience has run its course, and the people that are repeating the experience and not learning it need to be moving on in their migration patterns, because they're literally holding up the immigration of other soul families from other universes that are part of the wheel of divinity.
Andrew, you did earlier in your statement, did I hear you say there were 17 universes?
That is correct. 17 universes, and each universe has 17 spokes of divinity on it. And those 17 spokes of divinity are about how much you choose to experience at each layer of reality through the galaxy. And once you finish that layer of divinity, you have a choice to become a creating, manifesting being, or form a solar system or a planet with other souls, or you get to move up the wheel of divinity and go to the next layer of experiences in other universes.
Indeed.
Many of the Arcturian collective are already well on this path, and they invested heavily in this world when many of the early travelers and consciousness exploration people here on Earth that were Lemurian or Atlantean or pre that were going to the end of the universe to literally watch the expansion of consciousness of the universe. We are a sum total of the sentience, and I've said this many, many times. Sentience is something that needs to be metered, and when there's a new immigration pattern or expansion of the experience, the universe actually expands. And there are consciousness explorers that literally go to the end of the universe and wait for the big burst of expansion and literally watch the universe expand and create whole new realms.
So the actual migration between universes is absolutely part of this whole existence, this whole creation.
Correct. And there are times universal beings will go from one universe to another and literally try to recruit people because their experience has come to a stagnation or a static pause, and they need new influx of people so that the repetitive cycle of reincarnation and that individual experience that's holding up their micro version of migration can get to a flow, so the experience is changed in such a way that the new experience with the new influx of people is a creative, co-creative of both positive, negative, and neutral. In our experience here on Earth, we're about to create a fourth choice. It's neither going to be light, dark, or neutral. The inevitability of this universe is a fourth choice because we have played out both light and dark, and neutral is the balance of the light and dark. Light cannot exist without dark, and dark can exist without light, but neutral can exist alone. So the fourth option is something that we're going to create in this universal expansion of experiential consciousness.
Is that going to be centered on this planet? Is that what's happening?
It's going to be a universal experience because all those beings that are 1 degree of separation from the prime creator are still under the concept of no interference. And too many of the beings that are 3, 4, 5 degrees of separation from the prime creator have made choices to make sure that the experience goes on. And those beings in that management system are going to be asked to leave our universe and go create their own. And that will create the fourth option.
I'm curious from TL2. I'm listening to this too. I'm interested in on her take on all of this.
On which part?
Well, I was thinking about the fourth option, or also just generally what Bliss was saying with the migration system. Let's start with the fourth option. That there were three options, and then now we have another.
Neutral only. Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely something which is emerging from the consciousness of largely humanity, ironically, but many of the species that are in this particular universe, that's for sure. Andrew has an interesting way of looking at things on a much more concrete level. My perspective is, of course, very vibrational, so assigning numbers to things is not something which I tend to do, but I've perceived exactly the same thing which he has, definitely, without putting those words, spokes, wheels, all of that. It's a good way of explaining it, I think, to a third-dimensional perspective, for sure.
And we're at the time where our inclination and vibration can violate our own will, and that's why in this human linguistic expression, we must carefully choose what we say. And as Teal knows, a single word can be misinterpreted on a mass scale.
I have a question for both of you. If this collective is moving in the direction of operating in neutral only, I guess the question I have is, does that mean we will exclude contrast, which I don't consider that to be a healthy thing to do, or will we acknowledge and exist at a neutral point in and amongst a vibrational reality which does have both positive and negative happening, but in a very balanced state, so the overall effect is neutral? Is that what we're heading for? That is a system that achieves an equilibrium, but is still in motion rather than being motionless.
That's a very good way to put it. But the thing is that we're never going to reach that state unless it is the collective desire. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I
and
can't see it working any other way.
While there are still beings here who do not desire that kind of neutral reality, it will not be created. You can only create that by virtue of either resisting it or desiring it. But it's so outside the realms of what most people are even, comprehending, that we're speaking of realities, of course, from source perspective. Time really doesn't exist, but we're speaking of realities that are potentially millions and millions of years off.
Interesting. So not next week.
We'll see, right? We'll see.
Well, if the collective so chose, it would be done. But as we know, the collective is in disarray at this point.
That and people tend to like drama, I've noticed.
Indeed. In fact, the whole idea of souls, I just wanted to ask Andrew and yourself, Teal, a really basic question. When two humans actually procreate,
mm-hmm.
Are they creating a new soul at that point? How would you express that? Because we're having souls coming and incarnating with assistance from parents into a child.
I would say no, because here we go with it again, with trying to understand these very complex subjects via the language that we have at our disposal. But from my perspective, I'd of course love to hear Andrew's take on this, but from my perspective, basically, a soul is separate from a perspective. And so what you are creating, the two of you, is a perspective. It's a co-creation of yours, your partners, several other people, of course, anyone who's going to interact with this person, but also a being, a separate, basically, stream of consciousness that is coming forth to activate that perspective. So to say that we are creating souls is inaccurate. To say that we're creating perspectives for which the soul to experience is more accurate.
In fact, which plays into... sorry, I'll let Andrew add to that what you will. Andrew.
I really like what Teal said, and there's another layer to this perspective. In this world, you aren't creating a new soul. It's not in the fundamentals of this solar system's reality. This solar system's purpose is to resolve karma between souls that have already experienced a breakage and issues. There are other realities, other solar systems, and other galaxies that do allow you to create a brand new soul. And those are solar systems that are near nebulas that have a thing called the crack in the universe, a temporary rip in the universe that allows an immigration pattern from one universe to another. And that allows the spark of infinite universal creation to come through that point of procreation. But the male and female aspect, whatever that reality's definition is literally going into this nebular void of the Kraken universe and searching for the youngest of sparks so that they can bring it into a womb of life and share it with the sacred masculine, feminine, or neutrality of a planet so that they can grow a very powerful manifesting, co-creating spirit for that world.
The activity on this planet then is really, or in this universe, okay, where the prime creator of this universe literally divided itself into, other entities, into, shall we say, a set of soul shards, galactic entities, and they themselves divided, and then their progeny divided, etc., etc. This is the tree of life I'm describing in this soul, but it's really the one soul. It is still prime creator of this universe. And in addition to that, we have a migratory pattern of souls from other universes. Would that be a reasonably accurate statement of sort of the activity in this universe at that level? We've got some souls coming in via migratory and other souls that are part of this particular prime creator.
There was a time where prime creator didn't separate himself and began reunifying himself, where I'm sorry, I don't wish to use the prime creator entity formulated himself into galactic central suns, and as more immigration status came from other universes, new galaxies needed to be formed, and each galaxy needed a galactic central sun, and that's where the prime creator separated himself into. And then all those first, second, third, seventh, eighth, or 30th generation of light or dark or neutral entities that migrated were 1 degree of separation from that galactic central sun and represented the primary experiential knowledge of that galaxy, and they created themes and extended contracts to create new solar systems. So the prime creator only is in the galactic central sun of each universe. If there was a while he separated himself down to create manifesting creator beings to go out and ask other universes to be part of this migratory process. It'll be much like a recruiting system, because there is a soul commerce exchange of value system between solar systems. One solar system might be looking for thinkers, mathematicians, or atheists, and another one may need something else or have a plethora of this that's going in a graduating class, and they regularly exchange wisdom through the galactic central suns or through a network of solar systems that are connected through an expansion of DNA wisdom by soul travelers or consciousness exploration vehicle-based entities.
Indeed. Now, Teal, you simply describe what Andrew is talking about as an ocean of currents.
Yes.
That's a really wonderful pair of perspectives to actually have. So thank you both for that. That's really interesting, really amazing stuff.
Wow. Now there's a wide perspective. We're a spirit. Our spirit is limitless. We're a spirit that has a soul that lives in a body. And that was just a little taste of our limitlessness. So just to go back and re-listen to that. That's pretty deep. And maybe we'll listen to a little bit more. Chris, did you want to bring any comments on that? Anything that you got as you listened to that?
Oh, yeah. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, from what I gathered from that, I've heard something similar from, say, the Ra group, for instance, where I was told by one of their representatives that every now and then they will gather new people by just existing in those eddies and currents. Like they described them like chains of people, or chains of souls, basically. And okay, did we just get cut off?
Yes, thank you for that, Chris.
Did we just get cut off from the call?
No, we didn't.
Okay. What I was saying was they described chains of people that integrate into their soul group every now and then. They described it as getting new members all the time that way. And then those people can be born as humans if they want to.
Well, nice. Now, I'm just, for those that have just come, we're on the theme of learning, going deeper, really digging deep and learning who we really are and how limitless we are and how we are unique and separate little diamonds with very much lots of facets. But together we are one, and we're expanding our oneness perspective that we are one with everything. And just wanted to bring that in. So if you missed that, replay it. It's really good. And I want to just welcome Chris to the show. Chris is here. He's going to do a segment today, and he'll be back in a couple weeks and do a longer one, maybe a little bit next week. We don't know yet. But Chris is kind of on this theme of hooking us together with our brothers and sisters, star people, and because we are all one. So, Chris, just give a little background of how you started in all this.
Well, it really started when I was a child, where I would have dreams of beings coming to me. Just like when we lived in Chicago when I was a child, I had a dream of some beings coming to me through I want to say a portal, and they were all in white, but they had different each one had different colored eyes. And that's when I first started seeing things. And then throughout my childhood, things happened like ghost visitations, alien visitations, things of that nature. And then back in 2009, I was hurt pretty badly. So after that took place, I noticed that any abilities I had gained severe momentum after that. And now, I engage in full-on conversations with guides, alien beings, you name it.
Absolutely, and Chris lives in Lincoln, Nebraska, and that's an hour away from Omaha, Nebraska. That's where I grew up most of my life. Yes, I was born in Iowa, but mostly until I moved to Minnesota. Probably been here, 15, 16 years. In Minnesota. So welcome, Chris. And my mind is blank.
No, that's all right. I get that with you.
So we're going to just do a little segment here with Chris and start in just getting closer to our star brothers and sisters. First of all, I thought, Chris, we could call in any beings for the highest good of all concerned that have a message for us, humanity, in this point in time in our, in the Earth ascending, the energy changes, us morphing into butterflies. I'll put it that way, into diamonds. Mm-hmm. So can we just do that part first?
Oh yes, we can definitely do that.
Okay, so let me just call in the divine flame of living love, and I call in collective consciousness, and I call in all of our higher selves that are listening or that will listen to this show. And I just declare that only the highest good of all concerned happen, and only the highest good of all concerned messages will come forth today and every day. Thank you.
Yes. Let's see who was coming to me in the moment. I like you just said, I only let in the highest good myself, and I invite any that are of that nature, any of the soul groups, and we see who comes through.
And Chris is really good about when they come through. He describes who they are and what they're wearing and everything. And go ahead, Chris, let me know.
Okay, this group is fairly new for me. Excuse me. This one is for the, looks like the Andromedan Council. Let me see. Yes, Andromedan Council. And I'm seeing, I don't know if any of your dealings with them have seen this, but what I am seeing is a big, I don't want to say large person, but they're kind of a medium height, but they're kind of, I want to say, kind of chunky looking. And they're standing, I'd say, probably about 5'4", and they looks like they're covered in white hair, and they have like a round-looking, face, round-looking mouth, round eyes, and they large feet, hands, and they are, as I said, the Andromedan Council, and a being that I talked to you about last night, Malekith, is coming through, and let's see what him and his group are saying. They said they are from the center of reality. They, from what they know it to be, the center of the Andromedan galaxy, the very core of it. And they look outward from that core. And they see everything in waves of purple, it looks like. From their visual perspective, they see everything in like purples, blues, mild greens, it looks like, and yellows. And they have been, from what I can see, I'm looking from a visual perspective from a ship, from out a window, and they're looking over Earth from a ship. And sometimes they're showing me now that sometimes when you see them, you're seeing something else, like an airplane or something like that.
Like an airplane. Franco said that they've been disguising themselves as airplanes a couple shows back. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm being shown, like little prop planes, things of that nature. They will disguise themselves. And even if they were walking on the surface of the Earth, I'm seeing that people would only see a short human. They wouldn't see them unless somebody was really attuned with it. Now, even then, they would have to reveal themselves completely. But I'm being shown that in history they've been here off and on. They haven't been here completely. And let's see if they have a message for everybody. They're showing me a waves of historical things to bring everybody up to speed on their presence here. And they're showing me going over oceans, in their crafts, going over water, it looks like they're flying into sunlight itself. It's like they use the sun as a basis to come here, like a vortex or a portal. Like they're using its energy to come into this
Chris,
sector.
There's many YouTubes that show ships going in and out of the sun, and it looks like a ship is feeding off the sun. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm seeing. And their ship, the way it looks without, any of the disguises, it looks round to me. I never like to say saucer shape. It's kind of cliche, but it's more like a wheel, and it has a rounded bottom and like a pointed top on it, and it has many crystalline window facets where they can look out. And it's almost like a traveling city, if you will. And they can have little craft come in and out of this bigger ship. And let's see what they're showing me that they visit. They don't generally go to, like, say, world governments. It looks like these beings go to people, like in crowds. Like there'll be a few. I'm being shown a large crowd of people that are standing, say, listening to somebody on a stage or an event or something, and they will participate in that way. Like they'll be mingled amongst the people to try to raise the vibration a little bit. And that's what I'm being shown. I'm being shown somebody standing on a stage somewhere, and it's really one of them in disguise. And then several of them are in the crowd too.
Can I interject a minute?
Yes.
Just to, come and standing in the crowd to raise a vibration. We are all tuning forks. And our star brothers and sisters, they come from a higher some higher dimensions than we do, so they have higher vibrations, even though we're increasing in our vibration. So they're just coming to be a tuning fork to help. Mm-hmm. This is why in the prayer one we ask for help, because we have guides, we have ancestors that are our star brothers and sisters. So keep going. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm seeing now is it's shifting from the crowd, and I've noticed that over this crowd they have a smaller version of one of their ships. I'd say about the size of a car, and they will literally pick up their people without anybody ever seeing. They'll just scoop them right up and then go on to the next thing. And it looks like it's like that planet-wide where they'll bounce from one crowd of people to another. They don't ever visit any sort of governmental bodies at all, from what I can see. It's just the people, the ordinary people. And let's see what else. Okay, it's shifting back to Malekith now, and he's looking at me. I'm seeing if he wants to give a message here, a historical snippet he gave me. And he said the main thing he wants everybody to know is, of course, what you described as the rule of one. They have their own names for things, but it's still the same concept. The main message is, from age to age, humanity has always been under watch to some extent, either from them or somebody else. And the age for their people to watch us is now, and to participate in with us is now, other than any other time in history, because of say the harmonic convergence. That's the example he's given me, the Earth shift. And he said this is their time where they get to really help out. And you're going to be seeing more and more of them. He's saying more and more of us are going to be around. Eventually they will get to show themselves for who they are, but that's going to be a little bit yet. But the main thing they really want people to know is why they are doing this. They're doing it to steer the course of humanity towards the sun, as they're putting it, towards the great sun, is what he's saying. Yeah, he's shaking his head, saying not only in concept but literally. And he said during this shift, it will appear in the sky to many people that the planet has left its orbit or left its solar system. And he says that's not necessarily the case. That's just a change in vibration. People will see a totally different star pattern than what they're used to. And that is because he's saying that some of the veils will be dropping, and people will be just seeing more of the entire universe. And I'm asking him when he thinks this is going to happen. He says between now and 500 years from now. There's going to be this humongous, I know that seems like a very long time, but
can I ask one question? And
yes.
That mostly we can't really put a when to it, and that mostly depends on what collective consciousness all of us create together, creating with our change in perspective. Is that true, Malekith?
Yes, he just said, yes, you can't really put a time on it. I mean, in relative human terms, it's between now and 500 years, but in respect to everything, it can be timeless. Humans are used to a timetable, strict timetables, and he says that's not going to be necessary after a while. Time itself is more of an illusion. The Earth itself in this current state is more of an illusion, and that's what I've come to call it. His word. Let's see what his word is. He's using the term hyperspace. See what I mean? Okay, he's showing the shift from the star patterns. He's saying Earth will go through a trip through hyperspace. He said.
Yes, and Tole talks about it. Tole talks with the Andromedan Council. Maybe you know Tole, Malakek, but our universe is traveling in space, and it's going into a completely different part in space. And so I think that's what Malakek is talking about. And when we reach a particular part in space, we already are, our vibrations are changing. The Earth is changing, and ours are too. Did I put that good, Malakek?
Yeah, he says, yes, exactly. He said, even though Earth itself is not necessarily moving, it's more like space is bending around it. And people will, from the humans' visual perspective, people will just see a totally different star pattern after a while.
Beautiful.
He's showing me the sky completely shift, and I'm seeing like purple ribbons and everything moving through this sector of space. And I'm seeing a string of planets going in like I want to say a spiral. It's more of like several spirals. And he's showing me that Earth will be at the center of that. Now, basically, Earth will be the tuning fork for everybody else.
Oh, that's good. Wow. Can I just ask, when you guys come boots on the ground in a human-looking body, even though we wouldn't know you were there, if our senses were attuned and we were being focused and aware ourselves, for example, maybe we're standing by sitting by a man on a bus bench, and we all of a sudden felt tremendous love or peace, or we felt our emotions changing to, good emotions. That could be maybe a clue that we have some help sitting around us. Would that be correct, Malakek?
Yes, he's saying most definitely. It's not always just his people, but he himself and his people do that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. They'll just mingle with the crowd, like what they were saying before, and they've shown themselves. I mean, they don't really show themselves, but because they've never really had to. But a few have to everyday people, or like children. Some children will say, Mommy, there's this being in my room. Nobody would. There'd be some people that would believe it, but yeah, they've done that. They've shown themselves to children.
And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Be careful how you treat people. You never know when that could be an angel." Something like that.
Oh yes. Yes. Most definitely. And that's another reason they don't generally show themselves, because anytime any other race has shown themselves to humans, it's ended very badly. So they chose another route by integrating their way in that respect, where they would just sit near people and change the vibration.
So are you saying that every time you tried at first is, for the lack of better words, the controllers, the bad people tried to turn it around and make it look like aliens or star people are bad guys and they're going to attack us? Is that what you're saying? So you had to switch a game plan for humanity out of love?
Yes, exactly. And they said the Pleiadians are doing something similar, where they'll come in and be like the innovators, like Tesla, for instance, incarnated Pleiadian, where he would come in and do things. And if the Andromedans come in and the way they do it's not working with equipment or anything, they just pump out this vibration, this higher vibration, and it ends up working out better than if they would reveal themselves.
Well, thank you, Malakek. I honor you, and we thank you so much for bringing inspiration to us. And anytime you want to learn from us, just ask us while we're on the Diamonds call. And we'll continue to build this relationship. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I honor you.
He's saying thank you for having me and all of us there. He's saying me as in him, all of us. And now it looks like they're stepping back through their little rift they have. And let's see who else comes through.
Okay. Is there other people?
Yes, there's another person showing up.
Okay, sure.
It looks like let's see, Metatron.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, Metatron.
Yeah, he showed up again last night, too.
Let me just share with everybody, Malekith and Metatron are both my guides, and I'm sure they're guides of a lot of other people. So that's kind of why I sound like I know him. I met him last night. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, now I see him walking through the rift. He has this big staff in hand. He's in a robe, and he's walking down this staircase, and he's showing me this downward spiraling staircase as he's walking. He's walking very slowly. For some reason, he's very, very slow walking, and the reason he's doing this is showing people. This is symbolic to where people have to slow down what they're doing, the day-to-day life, or else it's going to be a downward spiral like what he's showing. People, are moving too quickly, thinking more for the future, like, oh, I'm going to do this at some point, I'm going to do that. And he's saying, stop. And then now as he's stopping on the staircase, he's shooting back up to the top, right next to where he entered from. And that's symbolic to where people can when they stop and take a step back and, or exist in the moment, they're going to go back and be able to build something better. And he's shaking his head, yes. Let's see if he has anything to say. Yeah, and he's showing me he's going through his portal, but he's showing me some stuff that's on the other side of his area. And he's showing me his world where he came from. It's called Gregorius. And you might recognize that name as in the Gregorian monks. And that's we kind of took the name on after a few of his people came to Earth. But this world's on the clear distance side of the galaxy. And like
St. Francis with the animals, right?
Yep, and he's saying St. Francis is one of his people, too. And he's pointing to all this preserve of animals from different time frames, like giant creatures from millions of years ago. He's showing me where him and his people can just look out over this vast preserve. And he says humanity will want this knowledge back at some point. They will want to see all of this, and it will be there waiting for them when they can get out there in the universe. Let's see what he's saying. Yeah, he's showing me all these old ancient trees, all these fairy lights that are coming out of the trees, and it looks like creatures from every era are there. Looks like fairies are there maintaining certain environments along with them. And him and his people, he's actually got several others with him now where they're all pointing to this place. And he's switching out for someone else. And now that you mentioned St. Francis, that's who's coming through now.
Oh, St. Francis, hi.
Yes, and let's see what he has to say here. He says his name, his actual soul name is, let me write this down as I'm saying it. I want to say, see if I'm asking to repeat this. He's saying Franco is his soul name. Franco is his soul name. And that's how it turned into St. Francis. But he's pointing out over, he's holding, Metatron gave him the staff, and he's using this to point out over this vast area. And now let's see what he has to say about it. He said, respect for this, meaning the environment, being nature, animals, will earn humanity that knowledge back, is what he's saying. Humanity has to earn the right to earn that back. Be respectful of nature, be respectful of animals, other people, of course. All of that energy. They will eventually earn it back in time. But then eventually people will be able to go to that sanctuary and look over what Earth once had, and then be able to reintegrate that back in.
Chris?
Yes.
Can I ask him a question?
Yes.
Or just, St. Francis, thank you for coming. Metatron, thank you for coming. And, a couple calls back, we had Cynthia, and she enlightened us that, for the lack of better words, the negative or the bad energies are away from all the animals now on Earth, and that we are to pray and ask for help for healing for all animals. So, I just wanted, for the highest good of all concerned, and tell the audience, too, to ask for help from St. Francis for healing for all the animals, because I know he loved all those animals and he came around. Is that okay?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, that's the vibration they're looking for. That's what they want people to do, is that sort of thought pattern, because that can only be beneficial.
Thank you.
What else is happening? Yep, that's where you left it. Now it looks like the Gregorians are backing off now. They're backing.
Okay.
The enemy just fading now.
Thank you, Chris, for collaborating with all of us. And I bring this forth today, guys, because we're building relationship with our star brothers and families, and it's all about honor and respect, and we learning from them and they learning from us. So right now, me and Chris talked beforehand. I like to take somebody that's listening that is curious about maybe one or two of their guides that they have. And if you're going to ask to, see who your guides are, please have the desire in your heart now to continue to talk with those guides and ask for help in the form of the prayer one, highest good of all concerned, and build a relationship one-on-one with them in your home and going on in your life. So if there's anybody out there that has a desire in their heart that would like to build a relationship with some guides and don't know their guides, and would like to meet one today, *6, come on in. I think I unlocked the audience. Anybody? *6. And if not, that's okay too. This is just our first venture in it today. Oh, my computer. Are you there still, Chris?
Elizabeth?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Bev?
Beverly, yes.
Hi, Bev. Would you like to meet a guide if they come in? And, we ask for them to come in, and if it's not time for you yet, Chris has had experience where they'll say it's like there's a rift, you can't go further. So
that's
Chris
fine.
is very sensitive.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, this is Bev, Chris.
Hi, Bev.
Hi, Chris.
How are you today?
Oh, you're wonderful. You had me crying here.
Okay, let's see if somebody comes through here. Do you have a radio on in the background there? Because I'm hearing it echo on my end.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Chris,
then
Chris, let me share with you. You might be hearing Bev's music because she's been hearing songs in her ear for at least a year or 8 months. Different songs every day. So what songs are you hearing? What songs are you hearing?
Not singing right now.
No, but Chris is hearing that.
No, I'm hearing all that, yes.
Oh, you're hearing music?
Yeah, through your computer, or I'm hearing my own voice back at me, but I'm hearing something else in the background too. Like my
no,
voice
the computer's not on either. What song are you hearing? Do you know?
Let me see. I'm hearing like an old phonograph-looking player, like a record player, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, okay. Well, they do play a lot of old songs for me. Old Black Joe's one of their favorite.
So maybe we can ask who the guide is regarding her hearing the songs, and maybe he can enlighten, or she can enlighten. That being can enlighten that.
But I'm told that's part of going deaf. I'm losing my hearing, so I'm having this music. They say it's normal.
Well, it looks like that you actually are hearing something. You're picking up on a certain frequency. I'm seeing who your guide is here, and he looks to be very different. I don't want to say different, but I'm seeing like this, almost like this star shape formation. Like he's some kind of trying to describe. I don't want to say fish-looking being, but that's kind of what I'm getting at here. And I'm seeing like almost like a face inside of like I don't know what you'd see, like some kind of sea creature. And yeah, and I'm seeing see if I can get. I've seen this particular entity type before. They are called the Daropa, and They are space creatures that float around in the depths of space. They don't use any crafts or spaceships or anything like that.
Oh wow!
And let's see if I can get this person's name. Let's see. I'm going to write this down first, and then I'll see if I can pronounce it. Okay. It seems his name is Lentil.
Could you spell that for me?
Yeah, the closest spelling I can get is Lentil, Lentil.
Lentil. That's wonderful.
Lentil, yeah. And he's saying, he's the one around you that's giving you the music.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
Tell him thank you. I'm really enjoying it.
Yes, and he's here smiling. He says, thank you. He's not using his mouth to speak. He's speaking strictly telepathically. And,
right.
Yeah, he's shaking his head, yes. Yeah, and he reminds me of like, I don't want to say jellyfish, but with like I see these tentacles off the back. And he's saying that's his hair. Like I'm seeing this trail off the back. And he's just like
wonderful.
a head with this. And he says, let's see, if you see any like shadow movements in your home, like just in the air, if you see shadow movements.
I do.
In your home, yeah, that's him. That's who you're seeing.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and because he's darker in color. He's black and grayish, brownish in color. So you're seeing all these shadows. You're seeing he's close to manifesting a little bit.
Oh, no.
When you see him, yeah.
I'm going to see him?
It's all in your desire. It's in your desire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Can we ask why the music? Is there a story behind the music?
Oh, well, he says, let's see what he's saying. He emanates it, he says. Like he's like a tuning fork for different music types. And like he's basically saying like since his people ride on the currents of space, they get all the radio waves and get all of the music played and everything, and they'll usually pick one, and he's emanating that almost like a speaker.
Oh.
In a way, like a speaker or like an old gramophone, like what I was saying. That's why he chose that image. But he's around you. It looks like all of the time.
Oh.
Every
so when the
every
music
day,
comes, I can talk to him.
Yes. Yeah, that he's doing that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that. And I very rarely encounter his people, but so I didn't expect to run into a Daropa. That's his species name.
Wow.
And I'm trying to see where they're from. They're from the same place as the Andromedan Council. They're from the Andromedan Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And they traveled here many, many eons ago. And they've been kind of hovering in this area of space ever since, and around Earth. And they came through. I'm seeing if any of them are born into human form. And he's shaking his head. Yes, they do that.
Oh.
That's how they fix things. They will be born into another human form.
Could you ask him if there's any of his people here now?
Yep, he's shaking his head. Yes, there's many of them.
Oh, good. Oh, wow.
And I want to interject for Bev. Bev, you said you could talk to him when you hear the music, but there's no distance in time, or whatever we call time. There's no distance. You can talk to your guide anytime. So even if you don't hear the music, he's always there, and he can always hear you. So just be encouraged. Is that true, guide of Bev's?
Yes. Yeah, he's shaking his head. He's wiggling his head. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do I know any of these people from his?
No, he's saying no. You haven't run into any more of them, but it's not saying you won't.
Oh, okay.
But you haven't encountered any yet.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Is there a reason why he's given her the music? Is that helping her in a way, or is there a plan about that? And if it's private, you don't have to say it there. Bev can talk to him later.
Let's see. He said the only reason is to raise the vibration, just kind of like with the Andromedans. Kind of the same purpose.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
You're having a fun vibration raising there, Bev.
Yeah,
Thank
I think
you,
I am.
Bev, guys.
I think I am. Thank you very much.
So, Bev, you promised to keep talking to him, right?
I do indeed.
Yes. Well, bless you.
Yeah, and keep that music coming. I love it.
Yeah, and he has this big grin on his face. He's kind of smiling really wide. And now it looks like he's leaving at the moment. He's going.
Yeah. Okay. My dog is barking, so I'm not going to be able to hear you anyway.
We appreciate you, Bev's guide. Thank you for coming and giving her information and all of us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Yep, and he's just sending out a feeling of like love and tranquility at the moment. And now he's leaving.
Thank you, Bev.
Thank you. All right, I'll click out.
Okay. Thank you, Chris, and all who participated. Now I would like to, if there's any questions, comments, anything, what you're feeling as we're doing this, is it good, is it bad to your heart? Let's bring in some feedback. And anybody have any of that? Star 6. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Fine.
Bring in.
Oh, well, my feedback is I'm still keying in on the original theme of the call today, and that's the current, the theme of a current in the ocean.
Yes.
And you add as above, so below to that, right? So you got currents, and this ties into exactly, what your favorite topic is who we really are. Mm-hmm. We are currents of consciousness within the unified field. All right? So that's our perspective. Our perspective is as a current of consciousness within all there is, right? That's why we use the all concerned. So I'm keen, and then the other thing I'm keen in is astrology is a tool that metaphysicians use to map and look at, a tool to look at the various currents of consciousness. It's like we're all drops. We're individual drops in the ocean, and together. Okay, so all of the Geminis are running in the Gemini current. Okay, and you got 12. You got 12 major currents here that astrologers look at, and then you can mix those with 10 planets, and that gives you a whole lot of data that you can look at in order to map your relationships with the rest of the unified field. That's basically the way I look at astrology. But more about that later when it's my turn to read Anchor from the Divine Sky.
Which is coming up. How is it?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
It's coming up here soon. How's your chicken? Where are you with the chicken?
It's fine. It's fine. I cut the temperature down to 325.
Okay, so you're good with that then. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to mute out here.
That is a astounding analysis you put in there. Thank you, Richard. Is there anybody else right now? And otherwise, we'll go on to our next segment of the show. And by the way, Chris, I haven't talked to him about next week, and he may do a segment next week, but for sure he's going to do a show on, the 25th, right, of April, Chris?
Yes.
Franco Di Nicolo will be back, and that's the only date I could get him. So Franco Di Nicolo will be on for the first 2 hours on April 25th, and then Chris will come along. And maybe for next week too, we'll talk about that, Chris. Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Also, I don't mean to interrupt you, but as he was speaking, there was somebody else that came through to kind of clarify some things too, like what he was talking about the currents. And I deal with a group sometimes called the Silver Flames of Elonius. They're called, and they. This particular guide's name was Castine, and I just got corrected. She is saying, I see her in this like current, like with how he was describing, with like all these divergent, paths and all kind of coalescing, and I was being shown that she's telling me. What is she saying? She goes, yes, she's confirming what he just said and what he will say, later on. And she's going that what's the message? She goes, all are not as they seem within these currents. Ask her to clarify. She goes, there are far more realities on the undersides of the currents and above the currents, in the as above, so below philosophy, than anybody knows. And that will all unfold in the next many years to come, is what she's saying. Okay, that's what she came to say. Now she's leaving.
Beautiful. Thank you for participating, my friend in the stars. That's beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks, Chris, too. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Well, stand by. Are you going to be able to stay for the rest of the show? Or maybe you'll have some input.
Yes.
If not, okay, good. Just let's see if there's anybody else from the audience that has a question for you or a comment or wants to bring anything in, too. Star 6,
hello?
Anybody? Hello?
Yes, this is Danielle. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I was very curious if Chris could contact one of my guides.
Okay,
sure.
Can we do that? Can we do that next week? And I just want to prepare everybody. If you're going to come in and ask, we have to be responsible and this is our time of growth, and we want to connect with our star people, and they help us, and we help them, and we'll be learning more about that. But just if you have the desire in your heart to keep on, talking with them after you meet them. And is that okay? Because we're going to go on with the show, and I just planned to bring in Chris in for a little bit, and he'll be back hopefully next week and then the week after.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Is that okay? Or
yeah, that's fine. I'm enjoying your show. Thank you.
Okay, where are you from?
Campbell, California, over by San Francisco.
Beautiful. Nice.
Very good. Well, I'll keep listening. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, hon. Okay. So Thank you, Chris, and stay in the background. And Richard, did you hear the being that came in? She's confirming what you're going to read, and Richard's going to read an astrology point that's going on today for us, an angel from Divine Sky, Cynthia's book, Divine Sky. Now, all these 365 angels are assigned to each degree around the circumference of the earth, and all these angels have a part in helping us, and they do special things. And as Richard reads this, if you want, you can call on this angel to help you, to give you wisdom, to give you strategy. Believe me, it works, and this is all real, whether you believe it or not. Just listen to your heart, and they'll help you. And so let's go with that, Richard. Come on in.
All right. First thing I have to do is I have to put in a correction here. Okay, 360 is the magic number of the circle. All right, not 365.
Okay, well, I said that the other night, and then I heard Cynthia say, no, there's 365, so we'll have to ask her.
No, there's 360.
Okay, all right, thank you for that.
There might be 5 hidden ones, but the standard set is 360.
Okay, well, I swore I heard her say that, so I'm just looking from.
Right.
That's probably what the book says, 360, right?
Yeah, 360.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, so as many of you know, I've been studying astrology for more than 30 years, and one of the things that I've learned from the masters, from the various readings I've done and the studies I've done and the strange people I've met, is that we work with many polarities. When we incarnate here, we incarnate into a set of conditions. One of the major one being is the condition of polarity, which is masculine, feminine, electrical, magnetic, et cetera, et cetera. You know, there's dozens and dozens and hundreds of polarities when you're talking philosophy. But as students and teachers and those that are seeking wisdom, all you wisdom seekers out there, that's why you show up at a call like this, right? Now, our good friend Cynthia spent over a year writing down these messages from these 28 lunar angels and 360 solar angels. Now, I was inspired earlier today when I was reviewing the current astrological conditions, a.k.a. Where the planets are today in the solar system. Masters suggests that one of the first things you need to do on this path is to know thyself. All right? Know thyself. Now, along with knowing thyself is knowing thy environment. So, if you're going to be good at this, you need to understand the environment, right? Because when you know what your environment is and you know what your personal condition is, then it'll help you make decisions about what you do, how to act, when to act, and, so you've got the being. When you're being, you look at your environment, all the conditions that you're aware of and that you experience. When you become an active worker for the highest good of all concerned, then what you do as an intelligent student here, right, is educate yourself, think twice before you act, and then do what you do. All right, just do what you do. Now, today is an interesting day. The planet Venus has moved into the constellation of Gemini. I've been watching Venus for several months now. Venus and the Sun and Mercury always move together as we go through the yearly cycle. And sometimes Mercury leads, sometimes the Sun leads, and sometimes Venus leads. Well, for most of the last few months, Venus has been leading the way. It was the first one to move into Taurus. And the angels of Taurus are very interesting. But today we're going to talk about this new. Now, Venus. Remember, Venus is a giver, and Venus is a current that delivers to us. Venus delivers to us. All right. So now, these specific angels, assistants, spirit guides, call them what you will. Angels, angels have been around forever, and they're always, throughout history, have been helpers. So here's the angels of the first degree of Gemini. Their name is Proxones, Proxones. And these are the angels of mind and electricity. All right? Gemini is an air sign, and we know air signs are related to the mental plane. All right. So here's their message. Beloved, 3 universal rays manifest in 12 constellations. They are rays of love, wisdom, and will. That's Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. The rays can be described as vibratory frequencies of divine unfolding light emanating from the cosmic heart of Mother, Father, God. They carry particular qualities, colors, and sonic vibrations. There's that music component that are integrated with each one's various energy bodies, allowing one to be conscious of self as a magical being of light. They further assist in activation of dormant DNA and awakening to multidimensional memories. As such, the influence of the rays take a person into deeper understanding of light work, as well as giving insight into old programs still playing in the psyche. Each ray informs 4 constellations, one of fire, one of air, one of water, and another of earth. Gemini is the air, or mind, signed under the ray of wisdom. The 30 degrees of Gemini open a step-by-step journey into the comprehension of wisdom in thought and ideas. In this first degree of Gemini, we teach of divine will to obtain wisdom through the mind. This is probably my favorite path. Will, as it manifests through wisdom of mind, includes understanding of ideas about electricity, since will is electricity. We are regarded as adepts in electricity and special guardians of inventions that have to do with electricity. We keep such inventions in proper equilibrium. As guardians of all electrical inventions, we also teach how electricity expresses through the realm of emotions, which is magnetic, and into form, which is earth. All right? So that's air going into water, emotions, and into form, which is earth. As you know, there are two basic polarities, masculine and feminine. Masculine energy is electricity, fire, and will. Feminine energy is magnetism, water, feeling, and the change process. All electromagnetic devices on the physical plane, including computers, work on the principle of polarity. In computers, they are expressed as 0 for feminine and 1 for masculine. Electrons flow through computers according to combinations of 0 and 1. As above, so below. Whether in material electrical inventions or, here's the good part, whether in material electrical inventions or in the performance of miracles, full comprehension of the polarity of electricity and magnetism is essential. All right? So we need to master that. For sons and daughters of the universe to perform miracles, both will and feeling must be understood and governed within themselves. Each polarity has its own laws and patterns. Will, or electrical energy, is accessed in the delta pattern, emitted in sound, dreamless sleep, or in deep meditation. This is a very slow electrical oscillation, and even though this brainwave is the most slow, it is fundamental to the others. When will expresses itself in mind, the theta pattern is entered, corresponding to deep inward thought. Both delta and theta are precursors to connection with the outward world. When energy switches polarity and becomes magnetic or feminine, it initiates the change process of the outward world because pure magnetic feminine energy expresses with alpha patterns as feelings of whatever has been contemplated in theta and delta. These feelings go out and gather to themselves more of like vibrations, which attracts new realities into the physical world. When the feeling energy attracts its change in the physical world, the beta pattern of the 5 senses is entered. Thus, the laws of electricity follow intent and will, whereas the laws of magnetism follow feelings and senses. Proficiency in aligning pure being visualization will and feelings with divine virtues is necessary on the path of mental wisdom in order to regulate life and bring heaven to earth. We help the seeker become adept in following divine will for wisdom. thus ends that reading.
Richard, what's their names?
The name of this angel is Proxones, Proxones.
Well, I call on those angels for me, on that angel for me, towards me. Yes, 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 yes. Come on and teach me the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and all you have. I'm ready.
All right.
And anybody else can call on them. Thank you, Richard. That was awesome. And this aspect of astrology, these planets you just talked about, just did this dance 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago, right?
Yeah.
So these angels just came in today.
Well, sure, but I've got a spirit guide been with me since 1985. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when he inspires me, I get the message, right? We also want to read this second degree of Gemini, which is another short little message, but you kind of need the two of these together, okay?
Okay.
Can I do that?
Okay, so these two angels are what's happening in astrology today, correct?
Today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow. Okay, sure.
Okay, this is the second degree of Gemini, and I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It's Yparcha. Eparcha. Anyway, after basic electricity is learned through the first degree of Gemini, we inspire many technical inventions across a broad spectrum. Remember, the two kinds of energy, electrical and magnetic, and that electrical is will and male, and magnetic is feeling and female. These two energies, electric and magnetic, are known as the electromagnetic fluid. All right, there's your current thing going on. Yeah, okay? They are the direct and the alternating current, the 0 and the 1 of computer language. The most basic principle to understand is that electricity is another name for intent or will that is constant and it is focused. Magnetism is another name for feelings that constantly flow. For this reason, wisdom requires purity of intent. Our gift from Providence is the perfecting of intent, the electrical fluid. It is important to note that the three aspects of divinity, love, wisdom, and power, wisdom is the combination of love, which is female, with willpower, which is male. Wisdom is the middle path, the perfection of the electromagnetic fluid. All right, wisdom, that's Neptune. Love is Pluto. And will is Uranus. Emotional energy is full spectrum, that is, only unconditional, all-encompassing love. Then intent or electricity flows all the way into physical expression with the least resistance. In other words, great love is the best conductor of will. For this reason, it is wise to combine the feelings of any divine quality with love. Pure, holy intent or will of a virtue becomes divine feeling. Combined with total love, this generates a lightning bolt of energy activated out of omnipresence, the unified field, to manifest form corresponding exactly to the vibration of intent plus feeling. The highest power of residence in the unified field is accessed from the slowest state of delta. That's Let me read that again. The highest power of residence in the unified field is accessed from the slowest state of delta. It flashes like lightning through mind and emotions to physical form. In the human body, a divine electrical pulse of will generated in the cranium activates pineal, pituitary, and other glands. The human body temple then exhibits genius, and the energy is useful to produce anything, from poetry to new inventions to actual miracles. Our special province is inspiration for the creation of technical inventions that elevate loving realities on earth to support the highest good of all concerned. Wadparcha.
And the name of the angel again?
Y-P-A-R-C-H-A.
Tarcha, I call on you too. That's awesome. Those energies. And just.
And I'm not gonna read this, but we like to do things in threes. So the third.
Okay, really. Okay, I want to just make a couple points of what you just made first before you go on. Just a couple points. You know, the angel's talking about male is electric energies, female is magnetism. But in actuality, we're both. The male has electric and magnetism, and female electric and magnetism. Although the most prominent, why you're made a male is for electric energies, and why you're made a female for magnetic energies. So go back and listen to the angel. That's awesome. And by the way, you can call on these angels, just not at the time that, the astrology is good, but you can call on any of these angels at any time.
Anytime,
And then also we talked about the highest state of receiving a lot of stuff, highest state of magic miracles, I'll say, is the delta state. That's a delta state of your brain. And, that's when you slow down the monkey mind and you clear out your mind and be in nature and, just all those little people talking in your head and be at peace and joy and rest. And even in your deep sleep state, your brain's in your delta. So having an intention when you go to sleep at night, right before you go to lay down in bed, is, that you will delve into the delta stage and call on those angels. Okay, so go ahead, Richard.
All right. If we've got the time, we should check out this third degree of Gemini, Obedoma, O-B-E-D-O-M-A-H. Now, these angels are kind of complete this three-pack here. These are the angels of science and metaphysics. This is also a short one. This is not even a whole page. Beloved, when connection between individual and unified field is understood from the point of metaphysics as well as physics, then the path of science becomes the path of wisdom. The first two degrees of Gemini inspire divine wisdom in scientific understanding of electromagnetic energies, which is focused intent and emotional flowing. We inspire applying this to biology, chemistry, physics, astrophysics, homeopathy, and all such sciences. There's as above, so below. A fractal metaphysics. When understood and invited, beings of the elements, salamanders of the fire element, sliffs of the air, undines of water, and gnomes of earth, join with the focused intent and feelings of scientists and healers to create change in form. They do this whenever the law of one, the intent for the highest good of all, is followed to create all-powerful electrical will combined with highest magnetic fields of love. This is accomplished through aligning intent and feelings with knowing brought about by love that awakens perception of divinity omnipresent within the unified field, aka God consciousness itself. Divine electrical intent and magnetic feelings that are embedded in the energy matrix of each chemical, substance, and form can be understood. With this knowledge, various combinations of chemicals and substances can be mixed together for treatments of dis-ease. We inform about all branches of chemistry, biology, and such in their relation to metaphysics. For treating various diseases that occur through analogous chemical and biochemical connections. We give recipes of combining substances which have quite a different range of effectiveness than the chemical qualities of any separate substance. We provide excellent information on homeopathy from the metaphysical point of view and help with the application of chemical rays as regards the various parallel laws of nature and human in the microcosm as well as the macrocosm. Will for the highest good of all, combined with all-embracing unconditional love, creates the proper electromagnetic conditions for attracting brilliant guidance and success in all sciences. With this electromagnetic preparation, the awareness of humankind becomes a calm, sensitive medium that responds to the influence of intelligences, to divine guidance and the heavenly hosts whenever a request is made. In this way, secrets of the universe are revealed for the purpose of bringing about heaven on earth. Ask and you shall receive. Obedoma. Obedoma-H.
I call them the Obedoma angels for me, too.
All right.
Thank you.
That's what I was inspired to share with y'all today.
Thank you, Richard. Stay really quick. I want to see if there's any questions for you or Chris. I just want to have a comment on that. As you guys are listening to anything in your life, on here or anywhere, you know, you're limitless. You're diamonds. You're a spirit that's limitless, that has a soul, that lives in a body. And so as you're listening to things like this and you're brand new to it, or you're in the middle of mediocre to it, or you're an expert to it, tell yourself, your self-talk, listen to your self-talk and tell yourself, wow, I understand everything he's saying. Actually, I understand even more than he's saying, because you really do. You do. You know everything. It's been locked up and it's getting unlocked through this change. But when you can help yourself talk, your ego, say that to yourself, I'm telling you, it opens up wells of ancient stuff in you and then through you, share it to the world. Lots of wisdom and knowledge, so be aware of that. Now, is there anybody that has a question for Richard, burning in their heart? Any comments for Chris? A question for Chris at this time? A story to tell? Come on in, you guys. It's your chance. *6. We always got to give a few minutes. *6 has a little delay. Otherwise, Richard, you got to enjoy your chicken. Yum. And Chris, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Is Diane, are you still there? If you are, *6, Diane from California. too, while we're waiting for anybody to come in. Diane from California, *6. I was just going to let her, you can do that now if she comes back in. Maybe she's away from her phone. I'm sure she's still on. All right, Richard, thank you. Okay, so our next venture, did I hear somebody open up? Oh, maybe I locked the audience. Hold on. I fixed it. *6, anybody want to come in? So next week will be Rich Lenny from the UK. He's had many ET encounters and looks with those goggles in the sky. And most likely Chris will be back too.
Oh, yes, if you'll have me on, of course.
Yeah, probably the last half of the show, like after, yeah, we'll talk about it. Or maybe we'll integrate, we'll see. Great. What I want to do next, well, I'm waiting for people to come in if they want to, is I'm going to play Franco Di Nicolo, which is coming on. He'll be here next week. And they're reviewing, kind of the energies we're in now and a little bit of pointers. And the energy waves that have come in, we're going to get updated with the energy waves that are here now and coming in the near future. So this goes all with everything we're saying because, we're all energy too. And he uses a word, Chris, we're in a virtual reality. We're like a flashlight. What's that word?
Illusion?
No, we're multidimensional beings, but we've focused our flashlight down here, in a virtual reality. And I know it's hard to get your head around, and mine too. But it's real. It's real. We're living life. We're experiencing. We're growing. It's real. Everything's real. All right, and that's what I wanted to play. Then maybe all right, so let me lock the room up again in case somebody comes in and they bring noise and then everybody disturbs everybody. And I'll play Franco, and they just did this last week. Franco's been out of the platform for a while, which, he just felt like being that way, and now he's back. And interesting, Chris, Franco Di Nicolo is a unified soul, and he's explained that before. Actually, he's got a lot of beings like George, and healed and all that. And it's interesting when you brought in St. Francis, he said his name was Franco, and that minute I was like, oh, I wonder if that's part of Franco.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. He said his name was Franco, and then humans translated it to Francis.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll have to tease him with that when he comes on next week. Okay, you have any comments, Chris, at this point? Anything you're thinking of?
No, the only thing I was thinking is what Richard was saying. As he was talking, I was seeing all sorts of colors and lines and seeing intent mixed with magnetism. As he was saying, and it was all coming to me fairly quickly. I hadn't seen it from that angle before. I saw it. I've seen things from scientific angles before, but not quite into each individual number digit and everything like that. So I'm definitely going to have to consult these particular beings on this subject too.
So what you just experienced is who we really are, because when our third eye is turned on all the way, and that's natural for us, supernatural, natural. That's our naturality we're going back to, is because our language is kind of mixed up, and Teal and Andrew talked about that a little bit. So while Richard was reading the information, you were also hearing it and seeing it in picture form, so that really cemented it into your mind and heart and made it even more understanding to you of that. Am I correct in that?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, even though I might not remember every little, nuance, my subconscious started to absorb it, and I noticed that it started to unlock other things with my ability. So we'll see what happens in the next few days.
Beautiful. And did you call on all those angels?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That would be cool to do one time. And Richard reads an angel. Maybe we'll do that next week at the very beginning to start the show out. If Richard wants to, he'll read the angel of the day, and then you'll be on, and maybe that angel will come in and say a little message. Well, what do you think about that?
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, so let's listen to Franco and Antonia. And there's one part I'm going to skip over. Franco's talked about it. It's very intense and technical. I'm sure you'll understand it, Chris. But we'll skip over that part to go on to the rest of the energies things, too. So, and by the way, this is on the blog, on the Diamonds blog. Update on the new 5D energies replay. It's titled Quinn Young Meditation Activation. So he talks for an hour, and then there's a meditation to do an activation. And with Frank, it's really good. So I just recommend you listen to it all. All right, let me close the room up until we're done listening to this. All right, here we go.
Alone, and it feels challenging, and part of human nature and part of the human experience is that we so desire community, and we so desire belonging or having commonality, and I know that the Master community has that very much in common, where we can gather from all over the world and know that we belong and feel loved and cherished and feel like that there's a helping hand with sometimes crazy life that is happening around us, or just to help to feel more grounded and more at peace and understanding sometimes things that seem ununderstandable, if that is such a word, being Antonianism in the world that seems like it's gone crazy sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, when we come together on many reasons, energetically we are assisting the planet because we're all gathered here with the intent and purpose of assisting humanity, and also by assisting ourselves so that we enlighten and that we let go of belief systems that are limiting ourselves. And by doing so, we ripple out and then have effects on our planet and on the consciousness. So, and it's always so fun just being together. Mm-hmm. Always is. Always is. So thank you for being here. Thank you.
My absolute pleasure, and thank you for everybody being on, because we're all co-creating this beautiful experience right now.
Absolutely, we are.
And
we're all doing this together.
And the thing that you said there about the oneness and community and so forth. I mean, as much as we feel separated at times and so forth, and it's interesting how many people say, "Well, I don't understand this oneness consciousness or this community thing," because they all have interpretations of what it looks like and what it would be like and so forth. But as you were saying, I mean, everybody enjoys connecting with one another and to work together in one, and also in community. So in essence, as much as we feel isolated or feel like we need to, differentiate ourselves from others, we really do feel very drawn to not only one another but to everybody in community. And in our natural state, when we feel the most natural is when we're in commune with everybody. It's just because everybody's family. It doesn't matter, color, race, or where you're from, or age, or anything, sex, or sexual orientation, or anything. It doesn't matter. None of it actually matters. And in fact, that you just see it as we're all brothers and sisters, and it's great. It's like it's a gathering. When we have family, you can look at it as an example. When we have family and we get together with the family, it's so nice to get together. Now, to really enjoy the family is to put aside all the other interpretations, judgments, and belief systems, and expectations and so forth. And when we are actually really, really natural, being naturally ourselves, and everybody's being naturally themselves, and we don't judge anyone or anything, it adds tremendous amount of connection, comfort, joy, and pleasure of being amongst each other. But then there's such a powerful learning experience from it once you take those components out. And those components are not natural. I mean, we're programmed for it, and or have been programmed for it while we're using it. But in essence, once you take that out, and this is what it is, and you'll notice as more people start going into higher levels of consciousness, people come together, and they have a high appreciation for one another. They see each other as equal. They really enjoy expressing, being open. It's no more secrecy or embarrassment or, I got to create this facade of who I am or anything like that, or definitions, I'm better than who and someone better than you, or whatever it is. None of that actually comes into play. So as your consciousness, which you're going into fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness, of course, there's none of that, and there's also a super appreciation for each other's journey, and how you see each other's journey actually enhances one another. So it's and that's kind of one thing that you'll notice very powerfully. And the thing is too, as you become in a higher consciousness, you no longer see yourself separate. And not only that, you're not seeing yourself separate. Whenever there are so-called challenges, if you want to call it that, or certain things that are happening around in our environment, you don't feel isolated and, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? You actually feel more drawn to each other and say, okay, listen, let's all participate. We have these waves of this interesting things coming through. Let's work things out so that we can each support one another and move along and really flourish in this new experience, or whatever that experience may be. So it's very different in that way.
It is, and as you talked about, those are all commonalities to humanity. We love being together. A lot of the a way of torture had been in the past to leave somebody for 3 weeks alone on an island or to what's what I'm looking for, when they're just left on their own to cut them off. Stranded. Yes, there's another. When you're forced out of the community, you are
isolated.
Sounds like 3-letter words. No, I'm joking. I'm going to place it right. But when you're excommunicated, or where you're told to leave, and that used to be one of the hardest ways of punishment, was to cut somebody severely from society, because we are that is part of our human fabric, is that we're social beings, and that we truly desire to assist. I know that there are people sometimes that don't believe that, and everyone's a little bit different, but I do believe that deep down we all want to help. We all want to help somebody or make a difference, and this is what's happening in the world. And that's why people are coming together and marching to stand up for our environment, the earth, to tell governments no, to let people know that we do not want any more wars, because deep down we care. Deep down we realize how we are all connected to our earth, to Mother Earth, to the animal kingdom, to each other, as you said, irrespective of creed or color or religious beliefs or whatever it is. To be human is to belong to each other, and that's a big part of the waking up right now. But why don't we let that? We talked briefly. We had talked last time about the 5D energies coming in, and we kind of had timelines for March, but they weren't too set. But we know that the first wave of 5D energies, I believe, came in March 17th.
Yes, that was the planetary activation. That was the first sequence of 4. Just hot off the press from this morning. The next one will come the 21st of June, which will be the second phase. The third phase will be September 21st, which I found all interesting because they're all 21st.
Yeah.
And the fourth is on December 21st. So those are, and full integration should take an effect by the end of March 2016. That means the planet will be fully integrated in all of the stages and also actually vibrating fully at fifth dimensional consciousness. Now, at that point in time, we're talking about the planet itself. Now, humanity can be already in fourth and fifth at different, depending on the different individuals and the work that they're doing within themselves. Now, so when we're talking about the planet, we're talking about the planet. So now to understand what fifth dimensional consciousness is, it means that the vibration, the frequency, the level of consciousness that the planet sustains in its state of operation, its fundamental basic operating system, will actually support fifth dimensional consciousness beings, people, and so forth, more than it would fourth or third. So in essence, as the planet becomes more integrated into fifth, anyone in third will be feeling off kilter even more, because basically the planet will start to feel more foreign, will start to feel more disconnected, and in essence, it can feel the energies increasing, and they can feel that the fact that there's something that has changed that almost feels much more at home, but they feel more disconnected. They feel more out of the loop, sort of thing, if you want to call it that, because they're still operating in a lower dimensional consciousness, which basically is not so well supported. Now, the intent of all of this is that by the time the full integration is in March of next year, 2016, basically it's going to be very difficult for third dimensional conscious souls, and I'm even talking about physicalities at this point, souls, to really choose to be on the planet, or in this case, if they're not going to be able to move at least into fourth, then in essence they will choose to leave. Now, the departure may happen in various forms. It can be the departure, which has already been started. I'm not saying it hasn't. This has already been going, and probably a lot of people have noticed that it doesn't matter what age categories anyone's at, that there's a lot of departures at this time taking place, and it has been for the last while. And it's because the soul decides that. Now, because the soul decides to leave the physicality, it doesn't mean that the physicalities have to, stop existing, or what we call die, or in this case, non-physical. But in essence, it can also become available if the physicality in the mind is still very functional for another soul to drop in. And we're not talking about the drop-ins of an EP or something of that nature. We're talking about souls that would naturally be drawn to planet Earth to come in. So instead of choosing to come from birth, that means taking a new physicality from a baby state, they can choose to take already a physicality of any age that may become available. Now, it's not just, one's available and that's the one I'm going to take. It's going to also look at the way the physicality may be programmed and conditioned and so forth, but also where it's located, what it does, and so forth. So it sees if it's a match. And the match would be more in alignment, like we have always been making the choices when we come onto the planet. I mean, we choose our physicality, we choose our parents, we choose, the lineage that we're going to come through. Well, and this will still apply, except the fact that we've already chosen a body that's already been on the planet for a while. So in essence, it still looks at where the potentials are, what energies it's working with, and its experiences, because you have to understand the soul is one component about it, but then you still have the mind and body, which is the computer and the vehicle. And the computer and the vehicle still has a lot of programming within itself, and it needs to be able to match what the soul would consider as a feasible vehicle to take on. So actually a larger portion of that is also very higher option that wasn't available before. This has come into effect a little bit under a year ago, where it became, and this is where, even when you were talking to James, a lot of, they said a lot of souls leave, and then there's other souls that drop in. Now, there's also swapping going on, and there's a lot of things, but I don't know if we want to get into any of that this evening, because I did cover it in some other talks before, where, the souls actually will swap for a while. It's like, for example, there's a thing that people used to do where you can actually, for a vacation, you can swap with somebody in another part of the world, their home. So the two, say somebody's in Germany and somebody's in Canada, and they swap homes for a week or two, so that they, have a different place to go to and experience something different, because there's, of course, different culture, but they're not on vacation so much. They're really, well, you could say vacation, but in a way what they're doing is they're actually dropping into the experience of the other. Say for the person that was in Canada will go into Germany, and the one from Germany will come to Canada. The home's already established, so they don't have to worry about, being in hotels or anything like that. And so it's just a bit of a swapping, I guess, home swapping or something like that. So there's physical swapping that's going on too, which just the souls do that. And the reason I would choose that, and I'm just going to explain it because there's nothing wrong with this, and it's not an abandonment, because I heard this come up a few times, where people say, well, my soul abandoned me. No, the soul did not abandon you. The soul has basically actually chosen to take another experience, so that it expands itself even further, because it found itself a little bit more limited, and then it would come back and be even more charged. It's like somebody going on vacation. When you come back, a lot of times you feel different, especially if you've gone to something that was a little bit more profound, in a sense where you really got involved in, say, you went to the Himalayan mountains and you went to meditate and you climbed, and you had a whole completely different experience. When you come back, of course, you're not going to be exactly the same, because you've broken the pattern of what you normally live every day, but at the same time you've now been exposed to different experiences and different cultures and different ways of being and different energies and different environment and so forth. So you will come back, and it's the same thing. So a soul will go into another physicality where it can see the opportunity for it to have experiences that it has not been able to in one physicality because of its limits and its programs and its conditions and so forth, and vice versa. So those are the temporary, swapping that's been going on for some time now. And but then going into March 2016, by the time at that point, it's going to be very difficult. So many of the souls that do not want to participate will leave. Some others can drop in. Others will just no soul takes on the physicality, or the physicality's been compromised enough so that it's not feasible for any soul to actually choose it. Then it'll just check out. So, in essence, a lot of that. There's no fear to this, because when you really have a deep understanding, it's just a matter of, your existence is moving from form to non-form to a different form. I mean, it's a real nice little dance, but the mind has a difficult time a lot of times to integrate that, because the mind says, oh, wait a minute, if we're not here, I'm not here. It doesn't exist. It's terminal. It's terminated its existence in a sense, because a mind can only live through this particular experience. Well, where a soul and the higher aspect of yourself is basically immortal and will continue to choose from life to life to life, right? So, anyways, I didn't want to get any deeper into that, but that's kind of what we're looking at in that aspect of it. The planet right now is operating at 14.8 hertz. It is intended to go higher. So by June of 2015, it's supposed to be entering 15 hertz. So that's the intent. The collective vibration or hertz is about 217 hertz is the collective of people. So some are going to be higher, some are going to be a little lower. But on a collective scale, what happens is you're above 200 hertz, which basically is a platform for even further advancement and also for further change. So because we're all interconnected, when the collective energy goes up to a higher frequency, it actually enhances each other, supports each other to move forward even further. Now, that does not mean that all of a sudden it gets so easy. At times it could be when the collective energy is higher that it will activate even more intensities at times. Now, with souls that are vibrating at a lower frequency. Now, of course, if that's the case, there's no negative to any of this. This is what we need to understand. All of this is perfect, and all of it is in need for us. And when I say need, it's what serves us, basically. It's what we truly need for us to move forward. And you're not going to ever have an experience that's not one way or another served. So feeling that more intensity within yourself. Now, of course, we also have the next phase of things that's going on, and that is the different encodements that take place and the different energetic stimulations that come along that actually are pulses that advance humanity, which the attempt is to raise the collective frequency. So the next one coming up is April 22nd. That's on a human level. It doesn't really affect the planet directly, but it affects the planet because, in essence, when humanity's frequency increases, the planet's frequency also increases because, in essence, we support the planet's existence because this is all a virtual video game. Okay, we're all projecting what we're projecting, and we're created this environment to play. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, because this comes up all the time, people wait for change. People wait for these higher frequencies. They wait for, fifth dimensional consciousness energies and so forth. What we've done, and what I've noticed when working behind the scenes, and I'll cover some of that later, but playing behind the scenes, you know how we talk about there's no saviors? And I think you've mentioned that before, Antonio, too, that there are no saviors. Well, basically it's true. But you know what happens is we've kind of moved that energy to the fact of, oh, I'm going to wait for this fifth dimensional consciousness, and then I'm going to feel better. Then, things are going to change for us. In actual fact, that works aside, and it's interconnected, but there is no savior. There is no, like, for example, financial collapse is going to all of a sudden bring prosperity or, fairness in the planet. Or that, somebody comes along and changes everything and or aliens come on the planet or, alien beings come on the planet and fix us up, right? This is all savior mentality. Well, this is not supportive, and this is one of the things that there is no savior mentality required here. As long as we're into that, it basically delays until we get over that savior mentality. So in essence, we still need to do what we do. Okay, we are actively the ones making the changes. We are getting assistance, but the assistance will never take away what we require for us to do what we need to do until we're done. Because once we're done, it starts to shift, and then the complementary alignments and so forth will support it. For example, even with the inducement of the fifth dimensional consciousness on the planet, okay, it's not to say that it's just basically progressing and moving forward, but we still have to do our stuff. Because in essence, if we don't, then we just feel ourselves, okay, we can't do it, we're out of here, type of thing. So in essence, we need to let go of this importance, because a lot of them people, when's the next energy wave coming in? When is this going to happen, right? First of all, sometimes there's a fear because, in essence, it's saying, oh my God, intense things are going to happen to me. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to do this or that or that. Or the other part is, okay, I'm waiting for the next wave because I'm going to feel better once this next wave comes along, or that, I'm going to feel that I don't have to have these emotional things coming up. Well, it doesn't work that way. Those, in a lot of cases, this is why people have been somewhat disillusioned at times, because in essence, a lot of times when the waves come in, it really shakes us up or creates some more intensity and going, well, I thought it was supposed to make us feel lighter, but why does it feel heavier? Well, it never was meant to feel heavier. It's just that the change is occurring, and we're just not close in alignment with that frequency for us to feel as an uplifting rather than something that pushes us down. But it's not really actually pushing us down. It's stimulating. It's like somebody turning around and looking at it this way. Say somebody came in and put you on a hot seat. Well, it's not that the person, comes up to put you in the hot seat for you to feel bad or to get burned or something of that nature. It's really to get you moving. Really. So anything that comes along is to get you moving. even though it may come as something painful, if you want to call it that. Because it's interesting, because pain is only going to be there until you realize you don't need it anymore. And why wouldn't you need it anymore? Because it doesn't need to be the stimuli for you. It's no longer necessary for you to keep you moving. So that's kind of the thing that is taking place. And the other key thing, too, is our attachments to our stuff, attachments to people, attachments to our definitions, attachments to all of that. It's going to be harder and harder to hold on to that. And you'll notice because 2015 is last year with a little bit more steroids pumped into it, in essence. So it's going to, continue to push us harder and harder with great love, of course, and for, of our own doing, in a sense, for it to come into place so that it actually serves us. But the more we let go, for example, a lot of people get involved and get caught up with, trying to get other people in their life. Could be a partner, could be their children, could be their family members, could be anyone, really, friends, co-workers, you name it. And really wanting them to change or to be there to make the change for them or try to stimulate them. In essence, we need to let that part go. You need to be yourself 150%, or in this case 100%. Be your full, genuine self and allow others to be themselves. And while you're doing so, you'll notice that you'll be in the most powerful and effective way to be a change catalyst while you're around there. And and that's the other component that, it keeps coming up for us at this time. And the other one that's also very crucial is being comfortable with the world the way it is and really not looking at it being wrong, not looking at it as the victim, us being a victim, because, that's one of the things. I mean, there's so much talk about, the different organizations, the different institutions, the different governmental levels, and the different, bullies or whatever you want to call it that are playing various roles. And the moment we start judging, the moment we start condemning, the moment we start getting engaged, we become the victim, and they're the victimizers, and now we start fighting back against the victimizers. In actual fact, that's not the case at all, and they're playing a role as much as we're playing the role, and the only reason they play the role is they're playing the role for us to allow us to complete our part, and then their roles don't need to be played any longer. So to be comfortable wherever we are with whatever's taking place in our life, and then from there, you can maneuver on much easier. And the other key factor in all of that is to realize you can never, first of all, you've never made a mistake, and you can never make a mistake, because in essence, everything is created in such a fashion, as much as we may have judged it, to serve us one way or another. So everything was designed, which we've co-designed it and correctly designed in some cases, and in many other cases also, that everything was there perfectly orchestrated. So by being comfortable with our existing moment, existing state, instead of judging it and all that, you can now be much freer to maneuver through everything that you need to maneuver through. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking, and you're going to direct this a little further now, Antonia.
No, good. I just want to go back a little bit to, we talked about the planet being at 14.8 hertz, and this is planetary. So this is,
that's the planet,
that's like Mother Earth, the planet it's originating. And by June 15th, it'll be coming up to 15 hertz. And the collective vibe is currently at 217. As the planet is increasing, that also helps to nudge humanity to also increase, and vice versa, right?
Right.
So then if we are looking at raising it a bit by June, will humanity also be coming up a bit more past the 217, or will the 217 be maintained until this next whole 5D planetary wave cycles through?
No. See, in essence, all of them are interconnected. For example, as the planet's, of course, frequency continues to rise, it actually becomes more of a stimulation for the collective. Now, of course, even the April 22nd pulse that's going to come through, which is directly geared to humanity, will be a further boost to raise the collective energy. Then, of course, the collective energy starts to raise. The planetary energy becomes even much more freer to raise. So see how it hands back and forth, right?
Yeah. I guess and that's basically how I did it, because I was just trying to show that it's a song and dance, that it's not just one thing happens and another. It'll go back and forth, and as the planetary consciousness comes up, then so will humanity's consciousness comes up. And I think, when you were talking about people expecting things to be, perceived as easier, I think we go back to the discussion we've had quite a few times, that we're not yet, as per agreement, we're not yet living in our natural human state. And we have thousands and thousands and thousands of years of beliefs and programming into what it means to be human. So as we move through the dimensional involvement, the dimensional unraveling, then what we're doing is we're letting go of some of these very, very old belief systems and very, very old programs about what it means to be human. So at times it can feel uncomfortable or naked or not sure where to go, because it's sort of like the old expression, better the devil that you know than the one that you don't, because we know what it's like to feel competition. We know what it's like to feel a certain way, whereas feeling total creativity or feeling total openness can be uncomfortable. Or if the change moves too quickly, even though you're not joking about let's just push the button and get it over with, but that can be very uncomfortable and very hard, because not only as souls are we experiencing the experience that we have coming onto this earth as a soul, you've also agreed to take on the collective consciousness. You've agreed to take on the male-female aspect and what that means, and then the culture we're born into, then the religion we're born to, and down and down and down. And what we are in the process of doing right now through humanity is unraveling and letting go of all these. So although we're not saying things are hard, it on the human plane, it can be difficult, because all of a sudden it feels like all the things you knew, you don't know anymore, or you're questioning and you haven't quite yet found the answer. And the human mind likes to find an answer. We don't like busting in the question for very long. So that's just kind of where I want to touch base on. That as we move through this, it's not that there isn't joy, that there isn't peace, that there isn't all these other sides of humanity to be experienced. But for some, it can be difficult because of that. But I also think in knowing this, then you realize, okay, something's happening. I'm letting go of things. I always believe that the first step is awareness, or not having to know exactly, but to realize, there's something going on here. And I think for a lot of the people that are listening tonight, in knowing that, yes, there's shifts coming, we've all agreed to live in an incredible time of accelerated growth for humanity, for our planet, and it can be difficult. And sometimes the New Age movement, I'm not putting judgment here, but I had a friend who used to say, I'm sick and tired of love and light, because everything is love and light, and no one's actually looking at stuff, right? Because we tend to kind of pretend everything's perfect, but which it is. We know that everything that's happening with it is. But her point was that everybody's so busy pasting on fake smiles that inside they're burning and seething, but nobody has the courage to look at it. So right now we're being put in a state to look at these things. And I know that that's part of, we talk about that even for you, you've had to totally revise.
Okay, well, stop there. So, Chris, did you get anything out of that? Did you see anything or anything, first of all?
Oh yes, the part about when the soul can leave and the body still can move around. I've seen evidence of that numerous times. Like in a vision one time, I saw where a person had been attacked by a creature, and just before that person could feel any pain, the higher masters pulled him out, and his body was still moving around, but the soul was moving on. And I've seen that before. And then what he was describing about another soul going in, I've seen this before. They usually call it a walk-in. Yeah. And I've seen this before, and also what she was just saying about how some people, they go love and light, well, and then they kind of put on that fake, exterior. Well, then now people are, being made to look at what they're concealing and then live in that true self. Love and light, true self, yes. Yeah. And not be fake, yeah, yes.
And with the souls going in and out, what he's talking about is the souls in our body. When before we came here, there was like being souls lined up, just say 10 times lined up around a great big building. Hey, I want to go to Earth. I want to go to Earth. I want to go to Earth. And guess what? If you're on Earth, if you're listening to this call, you were chosen. You were a chosen soul to come to be a spirit. You are a spirit to live in a human body. So what he's talking about, the souls, is, when they started popping in and out, starting last year, and I've had some of that experience, is like you're fighting with your son, and finally through all that fighting and arguing, you learn in your life just to be at peace and don't have to get all upset and all that. So you've learned a different way, a different perspective of coming towards your son. And so you're at peace with that situation in your life. And the soul that has never been to Earth, and this is an exciting time. Everybody wanted to be chosen. Was a soul that wasn't chosen would able to come in that exact situation that you're in with your son fighting, that you've learned that lesson. That soul can come in and experience that situation, and your soul could go somewhere else in another body and go experience something that you want to. It's kind of like swapping to learn to gain experience. There's no wasting it. Isn't that cool?
Getting your sea legs, so to speak. Yes, I can understand that.
And then so all this talk was weaving with the wave of the energies coming in and how we're changing and building relationship with ourselves and with others and human bodies and with our star people. And relationshiping in a way of loving, honoring, respecting. Everybody has different facets like a diamond, at different perspectives, but still we can, we can honor that and respect that, and we learn from everybody, learns from everybody, and we grow from everybody. Exactly, like what they were explaining. They explained to me several times about the different facets of like crystal or diamond, like what you say, and then they all come together as one essence by remaining in those different facets. Right. So at this time, I open up the other side of the call, and I'd like you guys to come in, give your feedback, any thoughts that you have. Come on, it's all about engaging in relationship. Anybody have anything to offer? And also, if Diane's back too, *6 Diane, I'll have you come in. We can do maybe a short one too. I have one more thing to bring today. But I'd really like to engage in conversation. Can you guys? Me and Chris are lonely on this side. Come in and say something. You guys are there. Anyway, I just want to take this moment to welcome all of our star brothers and sisters that have joined us and also engaged in this call through Chris, and not just through Chris, but we're all learning what you experienced Chris does. We're getting there, you guys. We're going to learn from each other. Okay, everybody wants to be quiet today, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes people talk and sometimes they don't. And it's not just on here, it's other calls too. So that's okay too.
Yeah, it's who's ever meant to come through.
Right. The saying, and I have a small meditation to end this with, but we won't end quite yet. I'll just say the saying. It goes with the theme of what's working out today on the diamonds. It is better to carefully choose our thoughts, words, and actions, because we will have to live with them for the rest of eternity. So that's pertinent in this time. You know, like you said yesterday, you know, we got to be careful of our thoughts because we're manifestors, we're creators. We're going to get to a part in time of our tuning forks really gaining power where we'll think of something and boom, there it is, manifest, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, people manifest things all the time. I see that in the paranormal field constantly. Like if somebody, you know, say if somebody just watched a horror movie and then they were also into paranormal and they can't separate those two things, they're going to manifest something awful and then they're going to go, oh my God, that was actually true. It may not have been true before they manifested it. It may have been completely false, but then since they believed it so heavily, they created it.
So we are truly in each of ourselves and together as a collective here on Earth, humanity I'm talking about, are truly responsible. And as you heard from Teal and Andrew and Franco and all of everything, the readings even and our star families, we have to, oh man, I just lost my thought. We're responsible. We're responsible. We have the dominion, you know, and the Bible says we have dominion over all the animals in the earth. So we are responsible for our words and our thoughts because we are the creators. So just like, yes, we can ask our star family for help, and they'll help, but they're not going to invade free will. And also, you know, we're responsible for asking for that help or victoriously commanding, you know, that something be done, but be responsible for that. Right?
Mm-hmm. Like Michael has told me before, you know, people call on him all the time, and the one thing he emphasizes is also at the same time, you know, that people ask him for protection, but then he goes, yes, but let me show you how to do it yourself too. And like create a shield of your own, so therefore what these other beings have to do isn't, you know, it won't take as much, you know, say effort on their part. Like Michael would always tell me, you know, create your own words. Create that means creating shields for like specific types of junk and junk energy. And then he would say, then, you know, now if you need, you know, protection, you know, call me always. But then he would always emphasize you need to be able to do it yourself too.
Wow. Okay, well, I have an idea, Chris. I want to co-create and just talk about responsibility, a little thing. I want to call in a being and say the prayer of one for the highest good of all. That being, if a being comes in, you will greet him or her. I don't know how. I don't want to say it, you know. And I know there's no sex involved. But then, you know, and then you can do your thing. And I want to just, we're just going to ask for help, and I'll be specific, and you'll know. How's that? Is that okay, Chris, to end this call?
Yeah, that works.
And first of all, on the last call for you guys on the other side here, to come in if you want, *6, last call. I don't want you guys left out if you wanted to say anything. And Chris will be back next week with Rich Lenny, and the week after, Franco and Chris. And I just heard we have this astounding, he talks about healing and all what we talk about. Somebody messaged me last week and said, you got to get him on your show, you got to get him. And I guess he's wide known and he goes and does, you know, seminars and all that. But he actually emailed and asked for a couple samples of Diamond's Call, so maybe we'll be seeing him on. up there like a master, which is good. And we're all masters. We're just uncapping our wells, master wells. Okay. So let me do my part.
Okay.
All right. I just call in the living flame of divine love, collective consciousness. I call in 360 angels that are assigned to each degree around the earth. And I call in any being from this universe in any time, space, or dimension that could help us with a pertinent and bring forth a pertinent meditation, prayer, empowerment statement for us at this time that you have on your heart that you've been aching to help us with, to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and a tool. So I call you in, and we welcome you. We welcome you. Thank you for coming. We love you guys. And we just say we are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. So therefore, in the name of who we are, and we are one with all that there is, we ask out of this prayer petition that only the highest good of all concerned happen. And I ask that for anybody else desiring the same desire in the multiverse, for only the highest good of all concerned happen. So be it, and so it is. And thank you for this is done.
All right, we'll see who comes through here. So last little bit. You've mentioned these people before. They identify themselves as the Silver Legion.
Oh, my God, really?
Yep.
Welcome, Silver Legion. I got a big smile on my face. What a surprise.
Yep. And they're all, I don't want to say they're chained together. They're they're all kind of holding hands.
Oh.
And the one in the center, though, I'm seeing is a larger one, and he's like the spokesperson for like all.
Describe what they look like really quick and what they're wearing.
They kind of, the superhero, the Silver Surfer. They kind of look like him,
cool.
In a way.
The Silver Surfer, huh?
Yeah, like the superhero, the Silver Surfer. They're kind of reflective looking, and yeah, he was from Marvel Comics, but and they're wearing. Let's see, they look almost metallic, and almost like silver statues, sort of like sculptures. And see if I can see. Actually, I don't think they're wearing anything. To tell you the truth, they're just. I don't think they are. But the head guy that's in front, he's holding this large sword. It looks like, and he liked the reference to this whole Silver Surfer thing, but because that's very close to what they look like. But
let me ask you: when they come in, do they greet you in a way like some bow, some raise their hand? What's their sign for greeting? Yeah.
Well, they were kind of bowing, to other.
Bowing, okay. I'm bowed to you guys.
Yeah, and they're all doing that too. But yeah, they have like an emblem on them that's like on their person, kind of. It's a sword that's pointed downward, and it's like an emblem that's on them, and it's a fairly large sword. That's on each of them, but the center guy is holding it. He doesn't have it on him. He has it with him. And I'm trying to see what the message they're bringing. They're showing now the center guy he's looking over Earth, and he's bringing the rest of them with. And I'm seeing none of them are speaking. They're just showing things through actions.
Yeah, well, we can go through. You can see that, and the Silver Legion are universal, are protectors of this universe or other universes. I don't know. Maybe they can say. And then we asked for a meditation, a prayer, or quote. Once you get to that, and if nobody stands forth, maybe you can ask one of them if somebody wants to be a spokesperson for the prayer request for the highest good, and offer anything else they want to. So go ahead, Chris.
Yes, they said they guard the multiverse is what they're saying. And now they're looking over Earth, and I'll see if they can give me a word or a phrase that can kind of stand, true with all of this. Oh, okay, that's actually what they're starting to say. Let me write it down first. Okay, there's the head guy is saying stand true to who you are supposed to become, which means to something you eventually become. You have to become that. Now stand true to who you're supposed to become, meaning your soul, is what they're saying. And they're going into they're mainly showing through actions. Like there are these large silver chains of beings that go in, and I see them combating different elements that combat kind of bombard the Earth. And they're saying in order to make sure that isn't always necessary is they go back to that phrase, stand true to who you are supposed to become. Meaning
Which to
don't
me
draw in. To
me is continue on your journey of helping yourself bring out your supernatural natural self, who you really are, and beyond the programming, or underneath the programming. So take yourself on that journey to erase that programming and ask for help, right? We can ask for help from you guys and other beings. Oh, yes. Yes, they always say they say we are here to serve. So call on them whenever it is necessary to. But also, like what I said earlier with Michael, they're emphasizing something similar. Like they want to also show people how to bring about manifesting something other than what they're doing. Like so they don't have to. So the Earth isn't so bombarded. So to be responsible, because we're engaged in relationships with all you guys, thank you. I'm honored that you showed up. To be responsible, can I ask specifically, so the ones that are listening and that will listen to the recording, what kind of help can we ask from you guys, and what kind of help do you serve? They said the help is, the word they're using is infinite, and what they serve is the three words they're using is love, respect, and honor. And that's the three words there. That's what they serve. They serve when we ask, and the highest good of all concern. It sounds like that to me. Yes. Yeah. So wow. Do you get? Is this group here? Do you guys happen to know Tanas? Tanas serves on the Silver Legion, and she's boots on the ground on the Earth too. Tanas, you said? No, Tanas. Tanas. Okay. Let's see. Yes, they all were nodding yes when they said that. When you said that. Tanas, a high general or something, and yeah. Cool. Yeah, and the front guy that I see with the giant sword, he is the one I want to call. I want to call him a leader, but or like you said, a general. He is. Let's see if he'll give his name. He is. This is a long name. He says his name is Suspirian. Suspirian. Nice to meet you. Suspirian. So, yeah, Suspirian is his name. And his sword is odd. It has these emblems that are on the blade of it. It has like little symbols that are carved into it, and it looks like it's a chain, like what I was saying, or it looks kind of, you know what a DNA strand looks like. That's what it looks like. Like he, and I think that's symbolizing that infinity symbol. Yes, and they're chains of infinity symbols. That's exactly what that is. Yes. He's ornately
I don't want to say dressed because it looks like they're all naked, but that's exactly what it looks like to me anyway. And they're ornately, they have, it looks like armor. It looks like they're armor plated in a way. And they're silver reflective looking beings.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Or was he going to say something?
No. You can. Yeah, go ahead and ask.
Well, I was just wondering. Tanath has spoke on some radio shows and told about the Silver Legion. That's how I learned about you guys. And what she does is I'm asking, if there's anybody else boots on the ground like Tanath, gravitate them my way. I've been asking for that, and I'll magnetize it my way. I mean, just put the word out if you could. That'd be great, you guys.
Let's see. Suspirion is saying he himself is. Yeah, he himself is walks on the earth right now as a human.
So
let's see. I'm trying to see if I can get a description of the person, and he says that he incarnated as a female. Let's see. Let's see. Hazel-colored eyes, greenish hazel-colored eyes, brown hair. Let's see. A woman. I'm trying to see what part of the world. It looks like somewhere in Europe.
Well, what's an idea that they could contact me? Email, phone number, the Diamonds blog?
Yeah, let's see. Suspirion is saying he's sending messages to his human counterpart that he doesn't know. I don't think he knows quite. It looks like they don't see things in time frames, but he says his human is very meticulous about records, about time frames that are on Earth, kind of recording things that he wouldn't normally experience. He could send a message, telepathically to his human counterpart to maybe seek you out. It might not be immediate, but it would be whenever that energy allows for.
Right. And what's the name? His name? Her name?
Her name is. Oh, I'm hearing the word Beth. Beth.
I used to go by Beth.
Oh.
Wow. Are you saying as me? No, I don't know.
No,
okay,
no,
so
he's saying no.
I'm just kidding. And meanwhile, I'll just be talking to Beth in as I do the prayer 1, 2. And somehow, some way, we will get magnetized together and stumble on like we did Chris and Franco and all that. So I have faith. Thank you, Silver Legion. Thank you. I forgot your name. I'm bad at names. I'm sorry. But I love you guys.
Suspirion is his name.
Suspirion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Anything else they want to bring forward? And
no, they're bowing and then stepping back.
Thank you, guys. Love you. Mwah.
And they did the same back. They
kissed their hand and went, mwah.
Yep, that's exactly what they did.
Aw, and remember, that's awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, no problem.
We had fun today. I hope everybody enjoyed it and learned a lot and got inspired about a lot of things. And we'll see you back here on Saturday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, right, Chris?
Yes, exactly. It should be fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. And this is reference 122 pound sign on. I'll put the link on the Diamonds blog, and it will be uploaded to YouTube in 2 or 3 days. Blessings of love and peace and joy turning to bliss to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.